الله أكبر الله أكبر.
Imam Hanifa rahimahullah, he said, I have 36 ashab, I have 36 students that I consider on a level of being companions that debate with me and so on and so forth. He said 28 of them are capable of being qudha, they're capable of being judges. He says of that 28, 6 of them are mujtahideen, they're scholars in their own right. 6 of them are capable of giving fatwa in their own right. He said 2 of them are capable of even superseding or going past my qawl, my statements in our discussions. And he pointed to Abu Yusuf and Zufar. Now the point is here that Abu Hanifa used to surround himself with scholars of hadith, surround himself with scholars in different things, and they'd have a debate, and then they'd come to a conclusion collectively as a majlis, as a gathering. He raised Abu Yusuf and Zufar, these 2 scholars, to where they got on the level that they were at their opinion. At times he would say, you know what, you guys are right, and their opinion would actually go past his opinion. And even in the madhab of Abu Hanifa rahimahullah, Abu Yusuf's opinions are just as many as Abu Hanifa. So let's start off, let's talk about his students. The first one that people are a little, don't know much about, his name is Zufar. Zufar ibn al-Hudayl. And Zufar was considered the highest of Abu Hanifa's students actually, the most knowledgeable of them. He was the oldest of them, so he was the most senior of them. And when Imam Abu Hanifa rahimahullah passed away, Zufar actually assumed his seat, but Zufar died right after Abu Hanifa, which is why you don't have much of his legacy in the madhab. Then you have Abu Yusuf. What's Abu Yusuf's real name? Yaqub ibn Ibrahim. Abu Yusuf came from a very good household, and he was very intelligent even as a child. So Abu Hanifa rahimahullah took him at a very young age, like when he was still a kid. And Abu Yusuf says that Abu Hanifa funded me and my family for 10 years. He paid for our expenses in the house. He took me, he bought me clothes, he brought me into his halaqah, and he sat me down. And after every halaqah, he'd go over again with him to say, did you understand everything that I said? And I would repeat everything he said in the halaqah. So Abu Hanifa really mentored this kid, subhanAllah, knowing how special he was. And then Imam Abu Hanifa rahimahullah even sent him to learn from Imam Malik. You see, subhanAllah, how Imam Abu Hanifa is, he wants his students to be broad and develop that broadness. He sent him to learn from Imam Malik, which is why Abu Yusuf sort of merged the school of Abu Hanifa with the school of the people of hadith, and brought the hadith component into the Hanafi school of thought to a much greater level, because Abu Hanifa sent him there. And Abu Yusuf, subhanAllah, became, as Abu Hanifa said, he became Qadi al-Qudha. He became the head of all judges in the Khilafah of al-Abbasiyah. He became the head of all judges. In the time of Harun al-Rashid, it was Abu Yusuf. So Abu Yusuf was the greatest of his students after Zufar. He was the one that really carried the madhab in that time. And then you have Muhammad ibn Hassan al-Shaybani, and this is the last student we'll talk about. Muhammad ibn Hassan al-Shaybani. Al-Shaybani was only 18 when Abu Hanifa died. But he studied with him, just like Abu Yusuf, he was taken in at a young age and mentored and so on and so forth. And when Abu Hanifa passed away, he dedicated himself to Abu Yusuf as well. This is the man who spread the Hanafi madhab through the world, Al-Shaybani. Because he was young when Abu Hanifa passed away, he lived a long life. He spread the madhab through the entire Muslim world. And he became one of Abu Hanifa rahimahullah's greatest students. And he learned from Imam Malik for 3 years. He taught Ash-Shafi'i for a few years. So the whole madhab is connected as well through Ash-Shaybani. Well, what did his peers say about him? Ash-Shafi'i rahimahullah ta'ala said, we are all children, dependent little children on Imam Abu Hanifa when it comes to fiqh. And we find Imam Abu Hanifa rahimahullah, we said many problems were solved when Imam Abu Hanifa met Imam Malik. Before that it was standoffish between Ahlul Hadith and Ahlul Ra'i. When Imam Malik met Abu Hanifa, they spent a lot of time together. And they sat together, and subhanAllah, it's a private room, right? There are no students allowed. They talk. Both of them, when they would come out of the room after talking to each other, would be covered in sweat. They made each other sweat because they were both at that level, right? Where they'd never been challenged by anyone to that level. So they'd make each other sweat. They'd come off with beads of sweat on their face and wipe the sweat off of their face after sitting with one another. And Imam Abu Hanifa rahimahullah ta'ala would say that this man is from the lineage of the Prophet ﷺ. This man took from the inheritance of the Prophet ﷺ. He'd praise Imam Malik. And Imam Malik rahimahullah said, this man is on the straight path. He's on Sirat al-Mustaqim. So they'd praise each other. And Imam Malik once told the Shafi'i, he said, Abu Hanifa is so brilliant that he could convince you that this pole is gold. You know, subhanAllah, his skills in speaking and in debating are so much that he could convince you that this pole is gold. So they spent a lot of time together and they worked out their issues, if you will, and there was a respect, and that's when Abu Hanifa sent his students to study with Imam Malik rahimahullah ta'ala while he was still alive and after his death. I mean, it's only natural that his two greatest students, Al-Qadi Abu Yusuf and Al-Shaybani, both went to Imam Malik after that.